Hello everyone. Hello ECAMM fam. Welcome back to the Amesbury Test Studio. You guys, I am really proud of myself for a couple of things. One is that last week, I got the absolute pleasure of teaching a podcasting lab for a whole bunch of seventh graders, 72 seventh graders. We're here in this space learning how to use ECAMM with green screen to create a video podcast and live streams, and it was so much fun. But the coolest part about all of it, and what I'm most proud of, is that I moved everything around in this space. I moved like the camera, we brought in some extra cameras, we had all of our kind of travel mics that I usually bring out to conferences and events, and I got it all put back correctly. I look okay, everything hopefully sounds okay. You'll have to let me know in the comments, but I'm really impressed. And I got it put all back right before we did Ken and Glenn's monthly Q&A. So it was like on a timeline, an aggressive timeline to make sure everything looked and sounded its best. So feeling pretty proud about that, because we all know as video creators and live streamers that moving stuff around and kind of once you get it the way that you want, it's a little scary to get it into a different place and then get it back. But it was super fun, and the video content that these kids created was just awesome. We had like sharks going in the background. They created a fake news show. It was just absolutely ridiculous. So super fun, and feeling pretty proud of myself. And back for yet another episode of Meet the Fam. And as always, if you haven't met me yet, hi, I'm Katie. I'm the Director of Marketing here at ECAMM. And this show is for the fam, by the fam, featuring the fam. It is a chance for all of our ECAMM customers and users to jump on and let me know what they're up to, and let the fam know what they're up to, and really just talk through how they do what they do and how they got to this point. Oh, good. Paula is telling me that I look and sound good. And Parker is on as always. Parker, you might be next up for one of our ECAMM awards, our Gold Mug Club, because you are just always on, always first, always here hanging out. I love it. So as usual, if you have any questions at all for me or for today's guest, please feel free to pop them into the comments. I will get to them throughout this episode. Just pop a Q and a colon in front to keep Paul happy and make sure that I find all of your questions. But without further ado, I am super excited to be hanging out today with Lawrence. Lawrence is an ECAMM customer. He has been using ECAMM for a ton of different things, so not even just one thing. And he has been hilariously showing me and micromanaging everything behind the scenes. So it's going to be a lot of fun today, but bring on all of the questions, because Lawrence has got a really cool story and a really cool setup. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. Lawrence, how did I do with an intro?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I hope, at least I know Paul is moderating. I hope there's no echo and none of those things are happening.
Yeah, Paul, let us know if there's any. Now that I've moved everything around, I've caused, who knows what's possible. But I think we're good. I don't hear anything on my end. Everything looks and sounds good. I love the white background. It's so funny. I know you were like, is this okay? Are you sure this? There's just something really like clean and different about it. I've been playing a lot with backgrounds lately. As I said, we had 70 plus teenagers basically in this space, and it was fun to see where their minds go in the world of creativity. And I'm like, sometimes I feel like I make things kind of look too maybe polished and professional with my like background that we've worked and set up. I'm like, sometimes like a cool color or something really simple and unassuming goes a long way. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I love it. I had options, and needless to say, most of those options I learned from this platform. I could have removed the background I just have here and have a cool set. Yeah. Or I could have brought up the green screen and done the magic that way. All those things I learned on this platform.
It's incredible. It does so many things that sometimes you forget everything. I get into my zone of, I do these five or six things on a regular basis, and I'm using these main features. And then I love these episodes because I'm like, oh right, I could do all of these other things. Yeah, it is amazing what it can do. Well, why don't we kick things off? I always love to hear a little bit about who you are, what you've been up to. I know you do more than just one show with ECAMM, so why don't you give us a little bit of background on who you are and what different kinds of productions you're creating and you're using ECAMM for?
Yeah, well, just to lighten the mode, I'm a husband, a father. Get that out of the way so that my
The most
wife,
important things, the most important things, yeah.
my wife and my boys are cool. Yes, I am a cyber security analyst, and I through that through that skill or path, I just before the COVID, I decided that I wanted to give back. That IT had been so good to me, and I want to give back to families, especially families.
Yeah.
The focus had always been on kids and how they journey on the internet. And I found a lot of holes, certainly on the family setup. At the enterprise, a lot of tools that help keep everyone safe, but
Hmm.
that's not doesn't extend to the family. And I've been a witness to kids who have gone the wrong way because they've been what I call cyber bitten,
Yeah.
uh, and that's what generated the passion to start, the YouTube channel Family Cyber Clinic, and I obviously found other needs, or rather other use cases for ECAM, but ECAM was not my. I didn't start with ECAM.
Yeah.
I, I'm a videographer, I'm a photographer, so I use the tools that many of the folks in the community use, like Final Cut Pro.
That's
And so
awesome.
possibly my first uh, 10, 20 videos out of now what is almost 200, I created them using Final Cut Pro.
Wow,
So
that's
I'll
great.
sit in front of the camera, save all that stuff, and then go back and edit. But I know that I just felt there was something better. And of course, like everybody else, I stumbled across another app. I'm not gonna mention the name, but it was free,
Yeah.
but very cumbersome.
Yeah.
And obviously through that journey, I heard about ECAM.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you feel that everything is just working out for you. The motive for the channel had always been to target children, and that I feel is a noble thing.
Yeah.
So I'm a strong believer that God ordains our paths.
Hmm.
And so coming to see of or discover ECAM was just awesome. So and I'm just gonna try and manage my answers so that you can go. But I also use it, like I've hinted you before, for a once in a month online service that we do.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to show you a few things that I do so you can see my setup. But
Yeah,
well,
let's take a tour of your setup. I love that you're prepared to do that. It's always fun to go behind the scenes.
yeah. Okay, so what I do, certainly for the Family Cyber Clinic, what can I give you about? Okay, I'll show you what I'm most excited about doing, and I'm just going to switch over to,
All right, I'm gonna go over here. Yep.
yeah, so you can see the keys. So
Yep.
basically, I during the service itself, I'm able to play a worship. You sing during services, and so the piece, the musical piece, I use ECAM, as you can see. I use ECAM to get the music, out to the community, the church community, and uh, YouTube, using ECAM to get this. And I do this live, and I can also do it recorded, but I do it live. and the quality that ECAMM pushes out to YouTube is just fantastic. And because of the bandwidth I have, the pipe that I have here, I'm able to actually stream in 4K. And the folks on the other side of the interweb are able to, appreciate good quality. I'm now going to just play. I don't know if you can hear that, but
Wow.
all this is coming through the Rodecaster Pro, and I'm going to say it quietly too.
That's beautiful.
So I do this, and then let me stop there before I'm getting too excited.
We'll have a live music show.
But ultimately, you can switch back to, yeah. So ultimately, I'm able to use, apart from the fact that I didn't mention that I'm a pastor. So I'm producing the show. So I have the two guests that will come, and they will sit, and I'm going to change the screen again, and they will sit. One of the guests will sit in that chair, for example, and there's a mic there, an FV7. Obviously, that means the quality coming from that chair is going to be as good as the one that I'm using, the SM7B. So they sit there and minister. Another person will go there and also minister. And then when they finish their piece, I will go back to the keys, which you're seeing now, and I'll play whatever songs we have planned.
Yeah.
It will shuffle between this screen there and me speaking and singing, and then once that's finished, there's a message, and we are done. And that takes 2 hours. So from start to finish, 2 hours, and we're done. And that's the church piece. And it's such, interestingly, and I'm not ashamed to mention Zoom while we are on. I'm not here to promote Zoom, but one of the reasons why I gravitated towards ECAMM was just the quality was pumping out, and that is consistent. That's not stopped. It's still going on.
That's great to hear.
And the excuse that I was using at the time was that Zoom was not really doing that much. For Zoom folk, they've raised their game somewhat, and so that's still, but I'm still sticking to ECAMM.
You can use the two of them together too, which is neat.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, I do. I've actually created a video that the community are aware of, where there was a marriage between ECAMM and Zoom ISO. So I've had some conversations with the twins about how to tweak some things. So at the end of the day, ECAMM is the priority. Every other thing plugs into what I do in ECAMM, and it's just so easy. I have not edited a video in 3 years. Seriously, when those 10 videos that I mentioned that I edited at the beginning, when I discovered ECAMM, I don't. All I do is hit record, do my stuff, and of course, because I can. You take as many takes as you want to take. After the fifth take, I get it right and record it and upload it. Put a thumbnail and we're good. During the service, because that's live, that's a no-brainer. It's just ECAMM all the way.
It just is. Yeah, exactly. What happens, happens. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't have control, but it's such an awesome, and I'm not just saying this because you're hosting me or because the guys are watching. This is fantastic. And I've heard about all the other players, big players. There's nothing, and I've got to be careful because, like I told you, I get nothing that compares to this platform. ECAMM rocks. I keep saying I'm a lover, not a hate.
Well, I want to answer, hopefully try to answer this question, and this was one for me and not for you, Lawrence, but so welcome, 6FS. Thank you so much for checking us out and for being here for today's show. And I'm sorry that we're having an audio lagging behind. I'm not seeing that on my end. So what I would ask you to do if you're still watching is if you want to just hit refresh on your YouTube link, or close out your browser and come back in, see if that makes a difference. And if that doesn't, let us know so that we can do some live troubleshooting here. We'd be happy to show you how we can troubleshoot and work our way through this. I'm getting pretty good at live troubleshooting when things go a little wonky, but I would say that I think it's probably on YouTube's end, but if it's on ECAMM's end, we have the ability to make some tweaks and changes to try to get it where it needs to go. So that's one of the benefits of using a tool like this. And I'll say, on the kind of live happens experience side, I've gotten really good now just from practicing. And Lawrence, I'm sure you're the same way, doing it so often that, if sometimes I forget, like I've had times where I forgot to plug my camera in, and it's working fine because it's just working off battery. The camera will die halfway through a stream, and I have to, quickly move from one camera to another. So, part of video production and live streaming and video podcasting and all of these things is being able to plan, as you just said, Lawrence, plan everything out, in advance so that you can flow through it really easily. And also just through practice and through, creating contingencies, knowing what to do when some of the technology goes wrong, because inevitably something happens, right? The internet it goes down that day, or a guest is having trouble calling in, or one of the pieces of gear in your studio fails, or something happens, and that's why many of us have a backup camera or have our phone nearby that we can switch over to as a backup camera, or a built-in camera, or a microphone, or know how to troubleshoot and work our way through the software. So welcome, 6FS. Let us know your name so that we can call you by name. But yeah, great question. I love being able to troubleshoot live. So yeah, let me know. Let me test my skills and see if I can help get it solved. Well, Lawrence, so go ahead.
I've watched you evolve. I know how respectfully how you were at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
And after the guys came over and redesigned the studio that you're in now, I just saw this confidence rise up in you. So kudos to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All that. I mean, kudos to the community. I honestly think a lot of it, like you said, is the having a set space. So I know how to work within my space now, and recently was able to even move stuff around and still feel like I can get it back to how I want it to look and sound. And now I give myself like a good amount of buffer time to make any changes, or to kind of test things and tech check things. But I think a lot of it too, honestly, was just the community members and and having a live audience that were there to support me when things went wrong, or when I was feeling really nervous. There was always Paul and Anthony and Parker and and Diana Gladney and Doc Rock. Everyone was sort of in the comments saying, cheering me on, or saying, oh, I think like your audio is a little hot, or something's going on, and here's how to fix it. And we're like live troubleshooting and helping me from the comments. And that's the benefit of having and building and growing, a community. And I'm sure, your church services are probably the same way, right? There are people who come every single month and are there to spend time with each other in the chat, and are there to learn and grow. And like, that's really the beauty and the magic of live video, is that you're putting yourself into a vulnerable state, but you're also, you're really able to engage with people and have those conversations with them. And it's a different feeling than it's a different feeling than a Zoom call. It's a different feeling than, being present and in person with them. But there's something about the live chat. I always love seeing those questions come in, and seeing people talking back and forth to each other in the chat while we're having these conversations makes it really special and fun. So I love that. I love that you're doing a lot of different forms. Like, you're using ECAMM for a live presentations. You're using it for recording videos. I think it's always nice to see, like, when it works, our our members who are like, oh, this works, and now I'm gonna add on this, or now I figured out that I can do these other things easily, right?
It's so easily. We generally, the rule of thumb is that you shouldn't use beta versions of applications.
Yeah.
I live on the beta or beta. Live on it. and of course, give feedback where possible. And I've done that. I mean, I've engaged with Ken and Glenn
Hmm.
often enough via tickets. But
Yeah.
even then, I'm sure they know that I'm not a nuisance. I I I like many in the community. I would want to say I am technical enough to understand when it's not ECAM's fault. It's on me, so that's why I don't burden them at all. But of course, some others have valid reasons why
Yeah.
they will chase after them. But they're so responsive, for people, to gentlemen who have, and of course with you in the background,
Yeah.
who have delivered this awesome software. They're so
Yeah, they
humble.
really
So
are.
it is a joy. It really is a joy, to to be able to come on and love on this tool. It is a tool at the end of the day. It's yeah, can't mince words. There's
Hmm.
something that I missed out. And this is so that everybody, Doc Rock, Anna, and
Fulgens.
I
Yeah.
always, yeah,
Fulgens. Yep.
the future husband and wife, I call them.
Yeah,
Uh,
the future married couple.
yeah, the married couple. So I've learned so much, especially from Doc Rock, without a doubt. Even Diana, when she started, and I used to engage her directly, I've learned so much from certain people. And once they give you, it's almost like they give you the hint, and you just go away and just try it out enough times, and it becomes second nature. The vertical videos that I push out, I learned that all from building blocks,
Mm.
and it's been that way since. And it allows me present the material with a ticker going, and everything just looks, and it's
Yeah.
obviously 4K.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful that the time is being put in to assist the community along. I learned how, in fact, I believe I saved money. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to show you
Yeah. Sure.
uh, an overlay that I
Yeah. We can go
created.
right here.
Yeah. So I created this overlay that I use during the service. And what it allows me do, what it allows me do is, instead of buying a software that will show scriptures,
Oh,
I've just,
neat. How clever.
so I can just scroll up. But what I'm doing there is just using the iPhone, to
Yeah.
show the scripture. And then once I finish, I go back to the screen. It's and all those things I picked up. You can switch the screen now, sorry.
No, you're
I
fine.
Yeah, all those things I learned looking and watching other people do tutorials, especially building blocks.
Yeah.
uh and just you sort of get, and that's say easily, because if you think about it, I would have been paying a subscription for Pro Presenter, for example,
Hmm.
to get the scripture verses in there, when I have an iPhone and I have ECAM.
Yeah.
End of story.
I love
So
that, like the creativity there. I think that's probably one of the hardest parts for any kind of, any kind of creator when you're doing it with video, is that sometimes there's too many options and so many different, tools and softwares and subscriptions. And yeah, sometimes the easiest answer is right in front of us, but we miss it because we're so distracted, or someone told us that, that this was this was a good idea, and we followed that path and have gone forward with it. You and I were joking before the show started about gas gear acquisition syndrome. Some of the stuff that, that you see everything in all these different spaces. I was talking with a colleague this morning, and she's just getting into streaming and video, has never done any of it before, and she was taking copious notes, and she's like, well, what microphone should I get, or what camera should I get? And I was like, why don't you just start with your phone as a camera and just get like a really simple like USB microphone. I'll even lend you one of ours from here to try out. But like, sometimes we just overcomplicate things
we do.
when an easier option is available. So yeah, thinking through, you seem to have done a really good job of thinking through, okay, this is what I want my presentation, my show, my stream to look like. like what are my, what are the options and the things that I have available to me. I think that's really clever. Just being, I can use my phone, I can pull it in this way, and I can just scroll through. It makes it so easy and such a good user experience all the way through. Anthony says it looks great. Looks great for reading. I love it. Thanks, Anthony. I just wanted to follow up quick
Yeah.
here. Raf is back. Thank you so much, Raf. All right, so it looks like my voice is fine, but Lawrence, you're still logging. Are you up for trying something with me, Lawrence?
I am. Yeah.
All right. Can you try hanging up and refreshing? So completely like Command Q, close out your internet browser and come back in, and let's see if that makes a difference. And if not, then I'm going to ask Paul for help in the chat. We'll see. We'll just see if we can get it there.
We're lagging all through that. Paul would have picked it up.
Yeah, it sounds like it says Lawrence still has lagging audio. Let's try if you're up for trying, just because. Hey, why not? And let's see.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I'll see you soon.
See you in a couple seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Let's.
And while we're doing that, it looks like Paul dropped in a link. But Raf, if you are interested in learning more about ECAMM, you can absolutely go to ecamm.live or ecamm.com. Both work. You can try out a 14-day trial. You can hang out in the community and practice with us regardless. So if you want to, play around with it while you're on trial and, test out the interview features for yourself, sometimes these kinds of things happen, and usually resetting or refreshing solves it. But if not, then hey, we'll figure it out. It looks like we have someone else coming in from Indonesia. Well, hello, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. Actually, while I'm waiting for Lawrence to call back in, I'm going to just shoot over here and remind people that we are leaping into live selling. We are leaping into live selling this April. So if you're interested in getting into live selling and live shopping and shoppable videos and everything in between, please swing on over to leapintolive.com. This is a completely free virtual event. It is 2 days. It's packed with absolutely incredible speakers. So it's really worth checking out to come learn all about the space of Amazon Live and all the other platforms that can help you get into live selling. And if you haven't seen it, our friend Marshall Fawkes, who does a show here on this channel on the ECAMM YouTube called Marshall Creates. Marshall's celebrating his 3-year ECAMMiversary, which is absolutely incredible. All right, hang on. Let me throw back over here. Let's see.
Hello.
All right, I'm going to look over here at my other screen. Say something, Lawrence.
Hi, how you doing? All
right, it looks good on my end, team. So thanks for being patient and testing that out for us. I'm always like, I'm trying to get better at live troubleshooting. So apologies for the distraction. Well, until we hear from the audience, Anthony has a great question for you. He wants to see how you presented scripture again with some details on how you were doing that with your phone, because he loves this idea. It looks really simple.
You see, I thought about that, and I kind of knew that if I didn't put that through, because when you get these, gotcha moments, or okay,
yeah.
Unless I make noise about it, no one gets to know. So I'll
exactly.
Pick up. So I got the overlay from, I don't know, is it okay to plug Luria?
Of course, we were big fans of Luria. Livestreamingpros.com. Yep.
So I got the overlay from there, and then I obviously adapted it as you've seen.
Yeah.
So what I do, and I know that's not doing it justice. Let me see if
No, it's all good.
So you can see me at the same time. See.
Oh, I can. I could drop you on as an overlay on top of this.
No, I was hoping that because it should just work this way. Let's see, Insta.
All right, I won't play around with anything, but
no, don't.
Don't touch anything, Katie.
There we go. Yeah,
there
so I just want
you
to see me there so that it's so. This is what I do. So
yep,
I will use this, and at times I will even use mirroring. It does look kind of real that I am. Let me see if I just for argument's sake, I'll just move it there.
I love
You
it.
know,
What we should all learn from this is that there is something to be said for testing and playing around with it. It's 98% of this is just playing.
so you can see that I'm actually. Let me do this because this. You remember I told you that I can be OTT at times.
No, but I think that that's like a really important tip actually. Like I think that's great.
So what's the gentleman's name again?
Anthony.
Anthony. So Anthony, this is useful. That of course you need a minimum of 2 cameras. So I have the which one is looking at me now? I have a Sony mirrorless thing. It's just there. It's an A7 III, so it's coming in through the cam link, and so that's the one. That's what I'm looking at currently, and you can see that I'm making eye contact, which is useful.
Yep.
But you notice that I'm now looking up. I'm actually looking where the scripture is. So, but that becomes a distraction. So to show you the power of ECAMM, what I will do then will just mirror. I'll mirror it so that where we lock, and then I'll mirror it so that when I'm looking now, I'm looking.
Oh, I love that.
You understand? So I'm
Yeah.
actually looking at the scripture and I
At the
can see.
scripture. Yep.
Yeah. So this is what all I'm doing is using the iPhone. Okay. I've plugged the iPhone via USB.
Yep.
That's what is showing. And then of course I'm holding it horizontally. You go to the scripture, you scroll down and all that. You go to where you want once you've chosen what you want. It and then you scroll up. But I can keep it under my hand so that you don't actually see it in view.
Yeah.
And I could just scroll up without making you feel dizzy. And then once I'm done, I go back to the main screen and it's almost seamless. You know,
It
this
really is.
you can't get this. I know I shouldn't be hating, and I'm sure I'm not hating on anybody.
It's okay. This is an ECAMM show, so you can be whatever you want.
Really, really easy to do these things, or using ECAMM. Some will argue, okay, you haven't tried the others extensively, and they may be right. But this is where I'm parking my bus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going anywhere. It's just lovely, absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
I hope that answered Anthony's question.
Yeah, let us know. I think we have all of these different devices, and I know that many of us are like, okay, well, but I want my phone or my iPad to be wireless, and I want to be able to use, NDI to do all these. Sometimes the easiest answer is just to plug it in and have it come in, like especially if you're sitting, right? So
yeah. Katie,
Yeah.
let me interrupt you if you don't mind. So just
Yeah.
sorry, I could have done that, and
Yeah.
I've had occasion where I've had to do it using NDI.
Yeah.
There's an app that I had to pay for, NDI
Yeah.
Cam or something.
Yeah, NDI cam. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you have a solid network and it's decent in the room that you're doing it in, I could have done exactly what I just did there without plugging it into the system.
Yeah.
So, and I've had occasion where I've run out of ports, for example, because I've plugged 2 Stream Decks, for example, in,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had to go NDI, and it's seamless. Again, the latency or the lag that could happen is really negligible,
Mm-hmm.
and it just works. So I don't run away from wireless. At times that's all you have, and then you must use it. But the network in your room has to be solid. Otherwise, of course, it will buffer and cut off. But yeah, that's
Yeah, and if you're close enough, I mean, I just think sometimes we think we need wireless, but we don't actually, and it's a little bit of a safer bet to be able to plug it in, and you can do just about anything with it as well, as long as you're not having to move around your space, or you need you're sitting in one spot and you need the phone or camera in a different spot. I think it's a good way to go to just make sure that you have that added quality and don't run into any kind of network issues or anything else that could crop up. Anthony says he's got it. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's good. That's good, Anthony. Good man. When whoever mentioned that I was lagging, it's almost laughable because of the pipe I'm coming in with. I have 500 down and 250
It's probably
up.
my fault then. It's my-
And I'm wired in. So it will be unfortunate if I am lagging.
yeah.
Yes, I know, the drill about
Mm,
the interview mode as a guest. I
yeah.
know there is a lag. So
Yeah.
I know to just look at you and
Yeah.
not look at myself. But I didn't think that will translate across to
Yeah.
the users. But hey,
Yeah.
I apologize if that's the case.
No, it's good. It's part of like live testing. It could be a number of different things. It could be something on my end. It could be something, hey, who knows?
Paul has,
Like,
Paul has not still said anything because
yeah. No, it's true. We look to Paul as
I trust his moderation. So if he's not saying anything, because he would have flagged it straight away,
yeah.
unless he didn't want to interrupt you. But I really, really hope that experience is not wholesale.
No, I
That
think
it's
we're good. Everyone else is asking questions and commenting, so I think we're good. But we should
okay.
talk. I mean, yeah, let's jump into some. So you are using so you're doing your regular show. So is your show for family cybersecurity? Is that show live or is that something you're doing recorded?
No, it's recorded. So it's recorded. I do every Monday. I
Mhm.
record and release the video Tuesday morning.
Nice.
And then at the end of the last Saturday of every month at 12 p.m. we have a live Q&A, and that's live.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, that's live. And I got one of the free overlays that ECAMM uploaded
Yeah.
onto the Facebook. That's what I use. And it's just beautiful. You know, the moving purple thing
Mm-hmm.
that Doc Rock
Yeah.
put up there. Yeah, I use that. So I have a live Q&A. So at times, you can phone in. So you can either phone in and I pick it up from the Roadcaster Pro 2,
I love that.
uh, and then we'll be conversing online. But the one that is most enjoyable for me is when I can get you in as a guest.
Yeah.
So I send you the link, or the link is actually, it just ticks over, and you can click that link. And once I confirm who you are, I get you onto the show, and you can ask your question live. I've had the great opportunity to interview some young folk who've had internet experiences, and they wanted to share their experiences to be a blessing to the family cyber clinic community. And
Yeah.
they sat through a whole hour. It's always 1 hour, so
Hmm.
12 to 1 p.m. UK GMT. And it's fun. So the live Q&A happens last Saturday of the month, and then every other week I release a video on Tuesday AM.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so great. And yeah, that it's funny. A lot of people ask us about how to do that, how to have a the ability for people to call in without being on video. Was that difficult to set up?
Well, you had to have the Roadcaster Pro too. For a start, I had to have that because prior to the investment, I was only doing video invites.
Yeah.
Once I got the Roadcaster Pro and I was able to link my phone either via Bluetooth or connected direct wired, it's just a matter of uh, fade in, fade out, or use the fader to get people's volume to match your volume, and you're good to go. And it again, Tom, I, I shouldn't
Tom Buck?
pronounce it. Tom Buck, that's it.
Hmm.
Uh, he made enough noise about that. I learned a lot from how he did his when he did it with his wife and they were testing. So
Yeah.
I learned from that. And now I've added it as a feature for the live Q&A we do. So it wasn't difficult. Like I said, if you want any help, go to Tom's channel.
Yeah, look for Tom
Or,
Buck, Buck.
or reach out to me, and I'll. It's at times it's good to learn from people who are quite simplistic. They're not too bogus or complex. Those are the people I learn the best from. And there's no clutter with Tom. He just says it, and it's so clear to understand. And
I'm gonna tell him that. That is the
he
best
is,
way to put it. There's no clutter with
he is,
Tom.
he is a teacher. He's an
Yeah.
educator, and of course we have others on the platform, so that they don't think I don't like them. I love all of them,
Yeah.
but I had to narrow, zero in on Tom just for the phone in thing. It's not
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah,
That
yeah.
probably made
So
a pretty big difference in your show because I imagine that being a show that's focused on cybersecurity and cyber safety for families, it must be a little bit difficult to do the live format because you also want to be able to protect kind of the safety of younger viewers. Do you have a mixed audience? Is it families that are watching together or mostly adults, or do you get kids and
interesting.
teens as well?
Sorry to interrupt. That's an awesome question, Katie. Even though the passion is to keep the kids safe,
Hmm.
the material that we record or share on the platform is targeting parents,
Parents,
targeting babysitters, guardians,
guardians, yep.
people who have oversight over the children. Um, uh, we don't have the time, but ultimately, parents are so hands offish when it comes to tech.
Hmm.
And so, what the channel is designed to do is to create a bridge where they can disappear in the night and just learn some things. I'm teaching them about how to do this, how to do that, how to, harden your laptop or tablet so that when your
Yeah.
kid picks it up, they are not vulnerable because the internet is not your friend. It's
Very
not,
true.
certainly for kids. It's not the sort of playground. It is their playground, and unfortunately, people are out there that mean harm. So the channel empowers parents and anyone who takes care of children. So when we do the live Q&As, yes, I invite people to ask questions, but they will be filtered somewhat.
Hmm.
But when I get the guests on, from pre-show, I've sent them questions ahead of time. These are the questions I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
And then that's all I do, but I don't want to know their answers. I want the answers to come via the show
Yeah.
just to get that excitement through. And yeah, like if you do live, you do live. Anything happens. And I hope, well, out of the 200 videos I've done, well, not 200 live videos, but
Hmm.
let's say I started the channel in 2019.
Wow.
So in that time, every last Saturday of the month, we
Hmm.
do a live. So on all those lives that have happened since 2019,
Hmm.
I've not had any of the unfortunate uh, situation where you
Yeah.
encounter rogues. That's happened on Zoom, not ECAMM. So
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have moderators that are helping you in the chat for those streams?
You see, you asked one of the your guests this same question, and I think it was the solicitor who had
Yeah.
yes, and his daughter. You asked, when I watched that show, I know that I need some moderation because I'm doing the live Q&A,
Yeah.
where I don't have control, or at least I'll be too distracted to focus
Yeah, and
on vetting people before they can speak. So
exactly. And it's I mean, I think there are certain fields where it probably doesn't matter as much. Like, I mean, I could come on this show. There could be, not to diminish you, Paul, but I could come on this show and there could be, some spam accounts or things that pop up, and everyone watching is generally used to that, and I could probably remove them pretty quickly even if we weren't able to have a moderator on. But I imagine that the content that you're putting out is just so much more sensitive, and because people are already who are joining your show thinking about you know the internet safety and protocols and things that in some ways are setting a bit of an example by what is happening in that chat as well as what you're showing on screen. So you're in a like an incredible field, but with great with great benefits comes great responsibility, right? Yeah.
I've just remembered, yes, we did have a rogue comment coming through once
Yeah.
doing a live Q&A. But like I've mentioned, as a cyber analyst, I can see those red flags from a mile away.
I'm sure.
I didn't give the comment audience. I
Yeah.
just right clicked and deleted. And
Delete
there's
it. Yeah.
something you can also do on the YouTube platform where once you delete it, it's done permanently and it won't filter through.
Yeah.
But in terms of needing moderation in general, you're absolutely right. I need that. Yeah, and perhaps I'll get my wife on board and
Yeah, exactly.
she'll do it for me.
Exactly. Well, Anthony thinks you're awesome, and I completely agree. It's just been great. I really love this show because it's just wonderful to get to hear people's stories and hear all the amazing things everyone is doing. I just think that the work that you're doing is just incredible. As a parent, is
Mm.
incredibly valuable. My kids are 8 and 11 and are sort of just starting to enter that foray into, they're watching YouTube videos, that we're curating and making sure that the content is safe, and they're starting to play Roblox.
Yeah. Oh, roadblocks. Ooh la la.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, okay, well, don't talk to anyone in the game, right? Like you have to make sure we're locked down, that you're trying to be as safe as possible and things. And it is. I think it's really important work, and even as parents who've grown up in a generation where where we've had internet access. I was I guess a teenager when the internet was becoming more and more of a thing, but there's still a lot that I don't know. So yeah, I think it's a really cool way to go about it, to have recorded video content that people can search and discover, but to also open up the ability for a Q&A and open up the ability for people to ask questions. I just think is hugely helpful.
The uptake is not great, and that's unfortunate. And I know, having been part of this platform and other platforms for that matter, if the passion for this space was not genuine, I would have given up on YouTube ages ago. But the moment I knew that it was more than just views and subscription, of course I welcome those.
Hmm.
And in fact, that's my moan. My moan is it doesn't have enough traction, the sort of traction that I dreamt of when I started in 2019. I just thought
Absolutely.
it will blow up
Yeah.
because parents needed
Hmm.
needed to protect their children. But I've since learned to just go grind, grind as long as possible.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if one person gets this information, I'm good. I'm absolutely good. Yeah.
I think that's huge, and I wanna wrap on that as a comment and a reminder for everyone that it is much harder and more work than everyone would lead you to believe. It is not, there is no magic formula where you use ECAMM or a software and you open up a channel, or you start a podcast, or you start a live show, and you just get millions of viewers and subscribers and it becomes this overnight success. It really isn't. It's hard work, and there are so many options out there for everyone and so many distractions that I think I think you're winning if you have people that are coming and are contributing questions. If you have that slow and steady growth, that's much more, I think, relevant and helpful than having a million people overnight who disappear, or who are not engaged, or who don't care the way that the people are that are showing up on a regular basis. So it's huge for all of us, especially newer people to the space, to remember that it's not magic. It's work, and it's getting 1% better every single time you do it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I applaud those, of course, those who have channels that blow up. Kudos to you. And this is not for lack of effort, as you've seen.
Yeah.
My broadcast is as good as it comes, and I'm removing my proud hat. But ultimately, like you said, it's not just the gear.
Mm-mm.
It's the people that you're targeting.
Yeah.
They may not really flow, and that should not discourage you if you're led to do this, like I really believe I am.
Hmm.
My what's driving me is not the production. Driving me is that I've just prevented
Yeah.
a mom from losing their son or daughter to the ills or the evil, I call it, on the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Mm.
Well, I cannot thank you enough for the work that you're doing and for choosing ECAMM and for hanging out today. I really, really, really appreciate it. And huge thanks. I just saw it's again so lovely in the chat to see in the last like couple of minutes while we were chatting. There was Tatiana's jumped on and David, and everyone's chatting with each other and leaving emojis and smiley faces and enjoying the conversation. So it's always fun to have people hanging out in the chat. If you are in the chat and you want to be on this show, want to be back on this show, you are always welcome. You can email me directly, katie@ecamm.com, or you can use the form. I think I have that in the description. If not, I'll go back and make sure that I add it. Oh, one last question. Tatiana always brings such great questions. Lawrence, what's been your most proud moment with your work of the past 3 years? It's your bragging time. What is your favorite? What are you most proud of? It's a tricky one, Tatiana. It is a hard one, actually. I've been asked this kind of question before, and I always struggle.
There's so many. Proud. Well, watching. Okay, I just to understand, is the question targeting proud because I use ECAMM or proud because I have Family Cyber Clinic?
I think proud of your work in general, regardless of
I work
ECAMM.
in general.
Yeah.
Well, I was able to see firsthand, and thank you for that question. I was able to see firsthand the impact this channel was having on people I could not see. Some people I knew, but there was one, and I'll be very quick, not more than 60 seconds. I had a rough moment where, like I've said, I've put all this effort in the gear and all that, and I was loving what I was doing, but it wasn't reflecting in the numbers, the views, the subscriptions. And that frustrated me no end. And I was ready to give up on YouTube. So I planned a live Q&A for the last Saturday, like I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And the topic was, give me one reason not to quit YouTube. Seriously.
Yeah.
That was my biggest live show. So it wasn't just that it was big. Behind the scenes, I was having meetings with a few of my acquaintances and friends who begged me not to quit.
Oh, I love that.
You know, that they may not be as regular, because part of the issue is most of the people who are watching my videos are not subscribed to the channel.
Yeah.
But those who have subscribed are not watching. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
But they were able to tell me that they watched the show, they need the show, and that I should not quit. For me, that's when I felt validated.
Yeah.
You know, that this is doing something for some folk, and I must keep going. So, if anything, that reminded me of why I started this in 2019. I hope that answers the question. But that's made me proud of what I was doing, and yeah.
Great question. Fantastic answer. And I'm glad that you didn't give up, because it can be demoralizing here and there when you're working really hard and you're not seeing the results that you thought you were seeing. But I hope that you felt in that moment and continue to feel that there are people behind you, and that your content matters, and that you're reaching the audience that you're trying to reach. Paul says, never give up before the miracle happens. And Tatiana agrees. It can be discouraging. Yeah, we must persist if we feel a calling to do so. ECAMM fam, Lawrence, thank you so much for hanging out today. And we will see everyone again next Wednesday. The response has been great, so we'll just keep doing these on a regular basis as long as we have guests that will jump on. And I'm going to shoot over here with just some more quick reminders. So again, we have Leap into Live Selling virtual event happening April 24th and April 25th. It is free. I promise you, it's filled with tons of helpful information. So be sure to swing over to leapintolive.com and register today. Marshall has been at it for 3 years, which still just blows my mind. Marshall started in the community And, he jokes that he was plucked from the community, but really it was just incredible to watch what he was doing and what he was creating. And he now has a regular show on our channel called Marshall Creates. But if you want to hear his story of how he got started and what he is using ECAMM for and what the past 3 years have looked like for him, swing on over. There's a video on our channel where he talks about all of that. He did a really great job with that. And just a final reminder, you have all been asking us endlessly for us to do an in-person event. We are doing one. It is called Creator Camp. It is happening October 11th, 12th, and 13th of this year in Massachusetts. Here we have a wait list. We are moving people over off of the wait list and sending out ticket information this week. So if you don't want to miss this opportunity, I think that the tickets are going to sell pretty quickly. We only have 100 spaces total, and there are lots of you in the fam. So if you want to come and hang out with us for our first ever inaugural event, it's going to be a ton of fun, really hands-on, just a great experience all across the board. So be sure to register for that. Hopefully Paul can drop a link into the chat, but it is ecam.tv/creator camp. We would love to get you on the wait list and see you in person. And from Lawrence and me and everyone here in the ECAMM space, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next show. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Lawrence.
Bye, Katie.